All right, let's get right to the heart of this. No build-up, no formalities. I want you to feel this truth so deeply it sticks with you. Self-confidence isn't something you need to go out and find. It's not waiting somewhere in the future. It's not hiding in a new job, a new look, a new relationship, or a skill you haven't mastered yet. It's here right now. Yes, right there inside you. And I know what you're thinking. Maybe you've heard this idea before, but have you ever really stopped and let yourself believe it? See, we're conditioned to think that confidence is something given to us by the world. Maybe it's a parent telling you, "I believe in you," or a teacher saying, "You've got what it takes," but what if I told you that's just the surface? What if I told you that the real self-confidence, the kind that stands up in the face of any doubt, any criticism that's already a part of you, just waiting for you to recognize it? It doesn't need applause, permission, or some big break. What it needs is your attention. It's been waiting patiently for you to notice it, to tend to it. Now imagine taking a moment to turn inward, to quiet all the noise and see the seed of self-confidence for what it truly is, a part of you that's always been there. Do you see it? Can you feel it yet? Imagine what it would be like if you poured your belief into that seed day after day. It would grow roots, wouldn't it? Deep, unmovable roots. It would blossom into something steady, something powerful. And all of that would come from you. Let's stop for a second. I want you to let go of who you were yesterday. Yes, let go of yesterday's limitations, yesterday's labels, and step into today as if you're meeting yourself anew. Think about it, every single label you've carried, every little belief about what you can or can't do. They're just stories. Stories that have been told to you, or maybe that you've been telling yourself, "I'm too shy, I'm not good at this, I don't belong here." But those thoughts, they're only as real as you believe them to be. Because here's the truth that changes everything: you are not bound by the story you've been telling yourself. Now, I want you to try something. Picture yourself standing face to face with the version of you who doubts, the one who feels uncertain, the one who questions every step. Picture that version of you like a reflection in a mirror. Take a good look, feel all that hesitation, all those doubts. Now imagine reaching out, putting a hand on that reflection and telling it, "Thank you, yes, thank it," because every single doubt has brought you to this moment of realization. Now imagine that reflection fading away as you step forward into a version of yourself who knows that you're more than enough. I can feel it. Some of you listening might be thinking, "But I don't feel that confidence. I've tried and I still feel small." And let me tell you, that's okay. Self-confidence is like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it gets. But training this muscle doesn't mean pushing yourself into things you don't want to do. It means showing up for yourself, believing in yourself even on the days when you feel like you can't. Every time you choose to believe in yourself, even a little bit, you're strengthening that muscle. You're bringing that seed to life. And here's a simple truth: the power to believe in yourself lies in the present moment. It doesn't matter what happened yesterday or 10 years ago or even this morning. Right now, in this very moment, you have the power to choose self-confidence. And what is self-confidence but a choice, a daily practice of saying, "I am enough"? Those three words said with conviction can change everything. Let's go a little deeper. I want you to think about something that scares you. Not something dangerous, but something you avoid because you think you can't handle it. Maybe it's speaking up, maybe it's pursuing a goal, maybe it's letting someone see the real you. Now ask yourself, what would it feel like if I approached this with confidence? If I trusted myself completely? You don't have to jump into it right now, but I want you to imagine how it would feel if you did. How would it feel if you stepped forward with the full, unapologetic belief that you could handle whatever came your way? Because here's the kicker: you can handle it. And you don't need to have all the answers or be perfect, you just need to have faith in yourself. Imagine carrying a heavy backpack. This backpack is filled with every doubt, every judgment, every limitation you've been told or believed. You feel the weight, right? Now set it down. right here, right now, set that bag of limitations down. Feel the lightness, the freedom that comes with it. Because that freedom, that's who you really are. The version of you standing here now, unburdened, light, open, that's your true self. So let's make a commitment tonight. A commitment to believe in ourselves, not just when things are easy, but especially when they're not. Because self-confidence isn't about feeling strong all the time. It's about knowing that even when things are tough, even when you feel unsure, you still have the strength within you to take the next step. You still have the power to believe in yourself, even if it's just a tiny bit. Take a deep breath. You don't need anything more than what you have inside you right now. You're not here to fit into anyone else's idea of what's possible. You're here to uncover and unleash the confidence that's been waiting for you all along. All right, let's go right into this. I want you to feel the power of this thought. The thoughts you believe about yourself are either lifting you or holding you down. Now that might sound simple, but think about it for a moment. Every thought you allow, every belief you hold on to about who you are, what you're capable of, what you're worthy of, it's either building you up, giving you wings, or it's weighing you down, locking you in place. And here's the real magic: you get to choose which it's going to be. Imagine this for a moment. You're standing at a crossroads and one path leads to a version of yourself who believes in possibility, who walks with confidence, who sees setbacks as stepping stones. On the other path, a version of you who doubts, who hesitates, who questions their own worth. So what's the difference between these two paths? What makes one feel limitless and the other feel like a dead end? It's not talent. It's not luck. It's not circumstance. It's the thoughts you believe about yourself. Now let's get real about those thoughts for a second. Think about it. How many of the beliefs you carry about yourself are actually your own? How many were given to you? Planted by a well-meaning family, by a world that didn't know who you could really be, or by a past version of yourself that was afraid to grow. Somewhere along the way, we pick up these labels, these limiting beliefs, and they can start to sound like truth. I'm just not confident, I always mess things up, I can't do that, but I'm here to tell you that these thoughts are not facts. They're just habits. And here's the thing I want you to take in today. Every single thought is a choice. It's a choice about the kind of life you want to live, the kind of person you're becoming. Every thought you think is like a building block, creating a foundation for how you see yourself. And you have the power to decide which thoughts stay and which ones go. Let's do a little exercise together. I want you to take a deep breath and close your eyes for a moment. Picture yourself as you were yesterday. Imagine looking into those eyes, seeing the story you've been carrying, the beliefs, the doubts, the insecurities. Now with love, let that version of you go. Imagine them stepping back, fading away. Feel that freedom, that blank slate. Now with that fresh canvas in front of you, what do you want to believe about yourself? Think about that for a moment. Because here's a powerful truth: you are the author of your inner dialogue. And every story you tell yourself, you live. If you tell yourself you're strong, you'll live with strength. If you tell yourself you're worthy, you'll live in a way that honors your worth. So why not start rewriting that inner dialogue to be the voice of encouragement and love? Let's break this down. Think of your thoughts like seeds. Every positive, loving, and supportive thought is like a seed that grows into confidence, self-love, and peace. And every negative, doubting thought, that's a seed too. It grows, but it grows into hesitation, fear, and limitation. Imagine walking through a garden and you get to decide which seeds to water. What will you choose to nurture today? Because here's a truth you need to hear: what you feed grows. I want you to picture this for a moment. Imagine a garden inside your mind. It's filled with both kinds of seeds, the weeds of doubt and fear, and the blooms of confidence and self-love. Now imagine that you get to be the gardener of this space. You get to walk through that garden, choosing which thoughts to nurture, which beliefs to weed out. And every time you pull a weed, you're making room for something beautiful to grow. Now, let me ask you this. Who would you be if you truly believed in yourself? Close your eyes for a second and think about that. What would you be doing? How would you walk into a room? How would you show up in your relationships? How would you speak to yourself when you made a mistake? That version of you isn't as far away as you might think. It's as close as the next thought you choose to believe. Here's what I want you to do. Every time a limiting thought pops into your mind, ask yourself, is this lifting me or is it holding me down? If it's holding you down, if it's draining your energy, it's not your truth. Imagine that thought like an unwelcome guest. Thank it for stopping by, but don't invite it to stay. Instead, choose a thought that lifts you. You have that power right here and now to rewrite the script. Imagine this, your mind is like a radio and you're the one turning the dial. You can tune into the station that plays fear, doubt, and criticism, or you can tune into the station that plays encouragement, love, and belief. Every time you hear that negative station playing, remember you can turn that dial. You can choose to change the channel. Here's a little challenge for you. For the next week, I want you to notice every time you think something limiting about yourself. And when you do pause, ask yourself, is this thought building me up or holding me down? If it's holding you down, replace it with one that builds you. Speak to yourself like you would speak to someone you love. Because here's a truth that will set you free. You deserve your own love and encouragement more than anyone else in the world. Imagine living like that, living as your own greatest supporter. Imagine waking up in the morning, looking in the mirror, and hearing that inner voice say, you've got this, you're enough. You can handle whatever comes your way. How would that feel? That's not a fantasy, that's a choice you can make right now, and with practice it becomes your reality. Take a deep breath and let these words sink in. You are the gatekeeper of your mind. No one else has the key. No one else decides what gets to live in your thoughts. Only you. So guard that space with love, with compassion. Let go of thoughts that no longer serve you, that no longer support the person you are becoming. Remember, every thought is either lifting you higher or holding you down. Choose the ones that lift. And if there's one thing I want you to remember from all of this, it's this: you have the power to rewrite your inner dialogue. You have the power to speak to yourself with kindness, to encourage yourself every step of the way. Not just about feeling good, it's about stepping into your life fully with a sense of confidence and peace. And it all starts with the thoughts you choose to believe. So let's make a promise today. A promise to let go of the thoughts that hold us back. A promise to lift ourselves with every word we think, every story we tell, every belief we choose. Because the life you're meant to live, the self you're meant to be, is just waiting for you to believe. Right here, right now, I want you to feel the power of two simple words. Think about that for a moment. These aren't just words, they are your compass, your foundation, your truth. Whatever follows I am isn't just a statement, it's a declaration, an invitation to shape your reality. I am is you saying, this is me, this is who I choose to be. Now imagine this: every time you say I am, you're planting a seed in the fertile soil of your mind. And whatever you choose to plant there, that's what grows. Say I am weak, and that's the seed you water. Say I am strong, and strength is what you begin to embody. Because here's a truth that many miss: the mind doesn't question what you tell it. It simply follows. You say I am in your mind, like an artist with a blank canvas begins to paint that reality. So I want you to ask yourself, what do you want to paint? What do you want to create in your life? Because if you choose words that limit you, that is what you'll experience. But if you choose words that empower, uplift, and align with your true potential, well, just think of the possibilities. Let me tell you a story, one that might sound familiar. Think back to when you were young. Remember a time when someone said something about you, something like you're so shy, or you're always so messy, or maybe even you're not very good at that. As children, we accept these things as truths. We take them on almost like pieces of armor, carrying them with us through the years. And each time we reinforce them with an I am, they become a little heavier, a little more real. But here's the thing, those words, those labels, they don't define you unless you let them. They don't get to dictate your future unless you give them power. So today, I'm inviting you to take back control of your I am. I'm inviting you to reclaim those words, to choose them consciously, to use them in a way that aligns with who you truly are and who you're meant to become. You might be thinking, how can changing my words really make a difference? And I get it, 2 words seem so small, so simple. But let's put this in perspective. Imagine you're in a boat and you change your course by just 1 degree. At first, that change seems tiny, almost unnoticeable. But over time, over miles, you end up in a completely different destination. Your I am works in the same way. Start shifting those words now, and over time, they will guide you to a reality that looks different from anything you might have ever imagined. Now let's try something. Say out loud, I am enough. I want you to feel it, really feel it. I am enough, let it sink in. How does that feel? Strange? Powerful. Maybe it feels like something you haven't allowed yourself to believe. But as you say it, notice how it begins to create a ripple, a gentle wave that moves through you. That's the power of I am, the power to shape your experience, to shift your perspective, to build a foundation on words that empower rather than words that limit. The truth is, I am is not about pretending or faking it. It's not about saying I am happy when you're feeling down or I am confident when you're full of doubt. It's about acknowledging the potential that exists within you, even if you can't fully see it yet. It's about creating space for that potential to grow. Imagine a mountain climber at the base of a mountain. Before they've even started, they say, I am capable. They're not denying the challenge ahead, but they're affirming their ability to face it. They're setting the tone, building a mindset that will carry them when things get tough. You have that same power. With every I am, you're setting the tone for the journey ahead. But here's the key, you have to choose words that resonate with you. It's not enough to say I am powerful if it doesn't feel real. Start with words that you can believe. If I am confident feels out of reach, try I am growing in confidence or I am learning to trust myself. The beauty of I am is that it meets you wherever you are. It doesn't demand perfection. It simply asks for your willingness to believe, to declare your intentions, to plant the seeds of your future self. And here's something I want you to remember. You can change your I am at any time. You're not locked into the words you've chosen in the past. You're not stuck in a single identity. Every day, every moment, you get to choose again. So if you've been saying, I am not good enough or I am afraid, know that you can rewrite that story. Right now, in this moment, you can choose to say, I am brave, I am growing, I am more than enough. Let's take this deeper. I want you to imagine each I am as a building block. Every time you say I am, you're adding a block to the foundation of your life. What kind of foundation do you want to build? Because eventually these blocks stack up. They become the walls, the rooms, the very structure of your life. Choose blocks that will stand the test of time, blocks that support, inspire, and uplift you. One of the most profound ways to use I am is to pair it with your dreams, your highest aspirations. Say I am a creator, or I am abundant, or I am open to possibilities. Speak those words, even if they feel like a stretch. Because when you do, you're signaling to the universe, to your subconscious, and to every part of yourself that this is the direction you're headed. You're planting the seeds of your future, one I am at a time. And here's where it gets interesting. Other people will begin to see you as you see yourself. When you walk into a room carrying the energy of, I am confident, I am worthy, I am enough, people respond to that. They pick up on that energy. And the more you embody those words, the more they become true, not just for you, but for everyone who encounters you. So take a deep breath and let yourself feel the power of I am. Let yourself recognize the strength, the beauty, the potential that lives within those two simple words. And remember, you are the author of your life. You get to choose what follows I am. You get to define yourself again and again with each passing day. Let I am be the beginning of your journey to becoming who you were always meant to be. Let's start with something simple yet deeply powerful. If you want to soar, you've got to let go of the need for others' approval. Let that sink in right now. Imagine this whole world is filled with people you admire, people you respect, maybe even people you want to impress. And yet, here's the thing, it's their approval, their opinions, and their validation. None of that belongs to you. It's not part of who you are. So why carry it? See, every single time we look outside ourselves for validation, we're handing over a little bit of our power. We're telling ourselves, I'll be enough once they say I'm enough. But ask yourself, why are we doing that? Why give away something so sacred, so uniquely yours, your self-worth, to someone else? Here's a truth that should set you free. You're already enough, just as you are, without anyone's stamp of approval. That's where real self-confidence lies. It doesn't rely on the shaky ground of someone else's opinion. Real self-confidence blooms from within. It's quiet, it's powerful, and it taps into an infinite source of strength that no one can take from you. Imagine for a moment you're a bird perched on a branch high up in a tree. Now that bird, it doesn't wait for the branch to say, you're ready to fly. It doesn't wait for the other birds to nod their heads and say, yes, we approve. No, it just spreads its wings and goes. Why? Because it knows that the ability to soar isn't something outside itself, it's within, right in those wings. You too have that kind of freedom within you. Every single one of us has an inner compass. It's that quiet, still voice inside that says, you are enough. You don't need them to see it. You only need to see it for yourself. But here's the thing about approval, it's sneaky. It can show up in small ways, in the desire for a few likes, in the hope for a compliment, or in needing someone to say, good job. But when you're constantly looking for that, it's like trying to catch the wind. It's here, and then it's gone. And if you live for that, you'll always be chasing, never fully arriving in yourself. Let's get real here. Think about all the labels you've worn, all the expectations placed upon you. You're supposed to be this, you're expected to do that. How much of that is truly deeply you? And how much of it is a reflection of what others think you should be? Take a moment to think about this. How often do we live up to others' standards and let our true selves take a back seat? When was the last time you actually asked yourself, who am I when I'm not trying to impress anyone? Imagine standing in front of a mirror, but this mirror is special. It only shows what's real. It strips away every label, every expectation, every bit of validation you've ever sought from someone else. What's left? You, just you. You, without needing to be liked, without needing to fit in. That's the real you. And that version of you is enough. And here's another truth. The minute you let go of that need for approval, something magical happens. You're free. Free to live, to explore, to create, and to express yourself without fear. Imagine a life where you do things simply because they feel right to you, not because you're waiting for a nod from the outside world. When you let go of seeking approval, you'll find a wellspring of confidence that was there all along. Let's look at an example. Think of a painter who creates because they have something to say, something to express. The most important eyes in the room, they're yours. You're the one who lives with yourself every day, every decision, every breath. Now let's break this down into something practical. Imagine a time in your life when you were looking for approval. Maybe you wanted someone to like your work, your personality, your choices. Picture that feeling, that anxious wait, the tension in hoping they'll say, "Good job." Now shift that energy. Imagine telling yourself, "I approve of my work. I'm proud of my effort. I know my own worth." Feel how different that is. Feel the power in owning your own validation. And here's an exercise. It's simple but powerful. Next time you accomplish something, even something small, don't look around for someone to notice it. Instead, take a deep breath and acknowledge it yourself. Say, "I did this. I'm proud of this." You're teaching yourself to rely on the only approval that's ever truly reliable, your own. When you root your confidence in your own approval, your strength becomes unshakable. Because here's the secret: if you're looking for confidence to come from the outside, it will always be as fickle as the people giving it to you. But when it comes from within, when it's something you build brick by brick with your own thoughts, your own choices, that confidence, it's rock solid, it's yours, and no one can take it from you. So let's choose to rise. Let's choose to soar free from the need for anyone's approval. Because when you do that, you're not just living, you're truly alive. You're no longer weighed down by what they think, what they'll say, or whether they get it. And that's when the magic happens. That's when you step into a version of yourself that is unstoppable. Remember, self-confidence blooms from within. And when it does, it taps into an infinite source of strength. A strength that says, "I am whole, I am worthy, and I don't need anyone else to tell me so." All right, let's jump right in. Imagine this what if. Instead of judging yourself through the eyes of every critic, real or imagined, you looked at yourself through the lens of love and compassion. Imagine how that would change things. Every flaw you think you have, every shortcoming, every little voice that says you're not enough, they all start to fade. What's left is just you, a beautiful work in progress. So let's break this down. To dare to see yourself through the lens of love and compassion, you first have to understand that this isn't about ignoring your imperfections. It's about embracing them as part of your unique journey. Think about this: when you see someone you care about struggling, you don't judge them harshly, do you? No, you look at them with understanding, with kindness. You see them as someone who's doing their best, someone who deserves grace. What if you extended that same kindness to yourself? Here's something powerful. We're often our own harshest critics. We hold ourselves to impossible standards, expecting perfection at every turn. But real growth, real confidence, it's born in the willingness to be kind to ourselves, even when we stumble. So take a deep breath and let's try something radical. I want you to imagine looking at yourself as you would a friend. Picture the face of someone who's doing their best, someone who's maybe carrying scars and doubts, but is also carrying so much potential. That's you. That's the person you see in the mirror every day. And that person deserves love, patience, and understanding. Now think about this. Every time you criticize yourself, every time you think, "I'm not good enough," you're seeing yourself through a lens that's distorted, a lens of doubt, maybe even fear. But what happens if you replace that lens with one of compassion? What if you decided right now to believe that you are worthy, not because you've done everything right, but because you are here, learning, growing? This journey of self-confidence isn't about perfection, it's about progress. Every step you take, every effort you make, it all counts. It's like a sculpture in the making. Michelangelo once said that his masterpieces were already there in the marble, he just had to chip away to reveal them. You, too, are a masterpiece in progress, chipping away at all the layers that don't belong to the real you. And each time you let go of a doubt, a self-criticism, you reveal more of the beauty underneath. Here's a simple exercise. Close your eyes and imagine yourself in 10 years. Imagine that this person, this future version of you, has been through it all, the ups, the downs, the triumphs, the setbacks. Now, I want you to see that person looking back at you with love and compassion, as if to say, thank you. Thank you for believing in me when it was hard. Imagine them telling you that every challenge was worth it because you chose to see yourself through love, even when it wasn't easy. See, there's a hidden power in compassion. When you dare to view yourself in a positive light, you're also giving yourself permission to grow. Because growth doesn't come from tearing yourself down, it comes from lifting yourself up, from giving yourself space to become. So many of us think we need to fix ourselves, but maybe, just maybe, we're already whole, we just haven't allowed ourselves to see it yet. When you look at yourself with compassion, you begin to notice things you didn't before. You start to see the strength you have, the resilience, the courage to keep moving forward, even when things are uncertain. And let me tell you, that courage, it's there in every single one of us. It's that quiet voice that says, I can try again tomorrow. It's the part of you that refuses to give up, no matter how many times you feel like you're falling short. Here's a truth that might surprise you. The most confident people, the ones who seem to walk through life with ease, they aren't perfect. They've simply learned to accept themselves, flaws and all. They've made peace with the fact that they don't need to be perfect to be worthy. And that's the power of seeing yourself with love and compassion. It gives you the freedom to be exactly who you are without apology. Let's get practical here. The next time you catch yourself in a moment of self-doubt, I want you to pause. Just stop and ask yourself, would I say this to someone I love? If the answer is no, then you have a choice to treat yourself with the same kindness you'd give a friend. Because you deserve it. Yes, you listening to this right now, you deserve to be gentle with yourself. You deserve to believe that you are enough, just as you are. Think about the journey of a butterfly. It starts as a caterpillar, crawling along inch by inch without any sign of the wings it will someday have. It's a slow process, often unseen, and there are moments when the caterpillar probably feels small, insignificant. But in time, it transforms, not because it's become something better, but because it's embraced each stage of its journey. We're like that too. We may feel stuck at times, like we're not making progress, but every step, every small act of self-kindness, it all leads us to unfold into something greater. So I'm asking you right now to look past your doubts. Dare to see yourself as someone worthy of love, of compassion, as someone who is allowed to make mistakes and still be whole. The journey towards self-confidence isn't about reaching a destination, it's about embracing the beauty of each step along the way. The up yes, the downs, the in-betweens, they're all part of your story. And your story, it's one worth loving. When you give yourself that gift of compassion, of seeing yourself as a work in progress, you release yourself from the need to be perfect. You release yourself from the idea that you need to have it all figured out. And in that release, you find the freedom to be fully, authentically you. There's nothing more powerful than that. There's nothing more beautiful than the journey of becoming who you were always meant to be, one compassionate step at a time. All right, listen closely. Self-confidence, it's not a destination you'll someday reach, a place you'll arrive at and suddenly feel complete. No. Confidence is a journey, a daily, moment-by-moment experience. It's a practice of choosing courage again and again in those small moments that seem ordinary but hold all the power. Picture this: every single day you're faced with choices. Choices to stay hidden in your comfort zone, to play small and avoid taking risks. Or choices to step forward, to move just a little closer to the person you want to become. That's it. That's what confidence is. It's not a perfect end result. It's a daily process of leaning into your own potential, of saying, today I choose to believe in myself, even if it's just a little bit more than I did yesterday. Because here's the truth, every small act of courage you take, every step you choose to take outside of your comfort zone, reveals something powerful. It reveals a limitless capacity within you to trust yourself, to know that you can handle whatever comes your way. Let's dive into this idea of small acts of courage. I'm talking about things that may seem insignificant on the surface. Maybe it's raising your hand to speak up, sharing an idea in a meeting, or even setting a boundary with someone you love. These aren't giant leaps, they're not grand gestures, but they are monumental in what they create inside you. Each time you step into one of these small acts of courage, you're saying to yourself, I believe in you. You're showing yourself that confidence isn't something you have to wait for. It's something you build. I want you to imagine a staircase. This staircase represents your journey to unshakable self-confidence. Each step is an act of courage. The first step, that might be as simple as telling yourself, I can do this. Then you take another step. Maybe it's setting a small goal and following through. Each step may seem small, but it's adding up. Each step is a building block, a vote of confidence in yourself. And as you take one step after another, you're climbing higher, feeling stronger, feeling more grounded in your own belief. But let's be real for a minute. Building confidence isn't always going to feel easy. There will be days when you don't feel it, when doubt creeps in. And that's okay. Confidence doesn't mean the absence of doubt. Confidence means that even in the face of doubt, you choose to move forward anyway. Think of doubt as a shadow. It's there, but it only has power if you let it block the light. Because here's a little secret, you don't have to get rid of doubt to feel confident. You just have to give more power to your belief than to your fear. Let's talk about one powerful way to build confidence right here, right now. Think of something small that you can do today, something that takes just a bit of courage. Maybe it's having an honest conversation you've been putting off. Maybe it's standing up for yourself in a situation where you usually hold back. Or maybe it's as simple as writing down a goal you've been too afraid to admit. These are small acts, yes, but they're more powerful than you realize. You know, we have this tendency to wait for confidence to magically appear before we try new things, but confidence doesn't work that way. Confidence is the result of action, not the cause. So every time you wait to feel confident before you act, you're putting the cart before the horse. What if instead you acted first? What if you said, I may not feel ready, but I'm going to take this small step anyway? I want to tell you something, and I want you to really take this in every single time you take a small step. Every single time you choose courage, you're not just building confidence, you're creating a new version of yourself. You're shedding the old doubts, the old fears, and stepping into the person you're meant to become. Because confidence isn't just about believing in yourself, it's about becoming the person who is worthy of that belief. And remember, confidence is a practice. It's a journey. You'll find yourself taking a few steps forward and maybe a step or two back. That's normal. It's part of the process. Confidence isn't linear. It's dynamic. So don't get discouraged if you don't feel confident every single day. On those days when doubt shows up stronger, when the voice of I can't is louder, remember that this is simply part of the journey. Your task is to take one more small step, to choose courage one more time, to keep showing up. I want to leave you with one last thought. Imagine the version of yourself who has reached that deep, unshakable confidence. Picture yourself standing tall, clear in your purpose, unafraid to be seen. Now let that vision be the guide for today. Let every small act of courage be a step toward that version of yourself. Because one day you'll look back on this journey, on all the small moments, and you'll see that confidence was never a destination. It was the path you walked every day, the journey of choosing again and again to believe in the person you're becoming. Thanks for joining me today. If you found value in this discussion on topic, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more motivational content. Share your thoughts in the comments below.